Hey everyone, this is me, the Undead Viking, and this is Steamrollers, a new game from Flatlined Games. Steamrollers is, wow, this game, it's fantastic. I'm just going to say that to begin with. When I saw the name, I have to laugh, because Steamrollers, I remember, obviously, like, Steamrollers, I think of the big, giant, like, construction thing that moves slowly and squashes things flat. I've always, loved the scene of that. And do you remember being a kid and like being in your sleeping bag and then rolling around like on top, like kind of like having pillow fights and having steamroller fights? So then, okay. Anyway, if you don't remember that, I remember that on my camping trips all the time. Steamroller, just like rolling over each other. But anyway, so Steamrollers is a dice game about trains. Now, I have kind of a weird love-hate relationship with trains. Not trains, train games. I love trains. I think trains are cool. But I have like a weird love-hate relationship with train games. I really, really like playing train games. I like the idea of playing train games. And the small sample size of train games that I've played, I've really, really liked. But getting a group together to play them, getting a group together to sit down and realize they're going to be like going through the process of that train game, and I'm talking about like games like railways, like Railroad Tycoon, Steam, things like that. I'm not talking about 18XX games, which is another animal in and of itself. But this is a genre of game that I've really, really only scratched the surface of as far as my personal like love of them. But I've always just felt like something was missing. There was some weird connection between my love of the genre and like getting that genre to my table. So when this showed up, I was just like, this seems pretty cool. It's going to be a roll and write game. It's going to be like, a dice drafting game. Plus, I'm going to be doing the things I really like when it comes to rail games. So I was very, very optimistic, and I was overwhelmingly paid off for that optimism. So let me show you how the game is played. It is so cool. I'm excited to show it to you. So let's go ahead and check out Steamrollers, and then we'll come back here and I'll give you my final thoughts. Here we go. This is Steamrollers. I'm going to teach you how to play. Now, the rules are pretty straightforward. This is one of those games where you're just going to be taking one person rolls the dice, then you're going to draft a die on your turn. When you draft that die, then you're going to take an action associated with the die. And you have several different things that you can do. Also, winning the game it's a point game, so you're trying to get the most points possible. You get points a variety of ways. Mostly you get points for delivering these cubes to where they need to go. You also will get points for upgrading your steam engine, for making a good railway network, things like that. So, knowing what you need to do to win the game to get like points is relatively straightforward and simple, but the puzzle of each turn on how to do that is a little more difficult, of course. Alright, so I'm going to show you the basic game. However, I was sent some of the expansions that can be added to the game. For one, you do get this sheet that has like a medium difficulty on this side and then a hard difficulty on this side. Now, after you've become used to the game, and so like right now the map is completely open, and you'll be using your pen to draw the different locations, to draw your railway network on your little board there. And each person will have their own sheet. However, depending on if you want a hard difficulty or a medium difficulty, one person will roll the die, and you'll put up these little walls in these locations depending upon medium or hard difficulty. And obviously that will make it tougher to create your railway network, because you'll have those walls to draw around. Now, I would suggest the first time you play the game, don't play with the walls. Get used to how the game is played before you delve into that. Also, just quickly, there are a couple other things that could be added to the game. One of them are like these order tiles. Like if you're the first person to deliver, 3 red cubes, you get 3. You could take this tile and get 3 bonus points. First person to 2 yellow, 2 red, 5 points. Things like that. Also, there are these starting bonus tiles that can be used as well. Now, I'm not going to play with those this time, but I do invite you to go ahead and check out the Kickstarter page. You can see more about those different variants, and it's good that those variants are in there. Obviously, once you know how the game is played, diving in and going at it with all the stuff thrown in to make the game fresh and new challenges is always a good thing, and I'm glad that the publisher and the designer have added those to the game. Alright, so you have on here, you can see that not only this map is represented on this game board. And at the beginning of the game, you will draw cubes and place them on these different locations, these different cities, and each one of these has like a number. So, and I did cover up that. You don't have to cover it up, so you can kind of see where it is, just so you know that which location has these particular cubes. Now, there's 2 gray ones in the middle, but they are 2 slightly different gray colors. They do that just so you can recognize the fact that there are 2 different, the 3 and a 4, 2 different locations. The color of the cube that you're going to be delivered has to go to the spot. So gray cubes have to be delivered here, blue cubes here, yellow, red, and green. And you'll notice that there are none of those colors available in there. There's no yellow cubes here. There's no blue cubes there whatsoever. Now, when you draw the cubes, you're supposed to draw the number of players plus 2 cubes per location. So I was like saying we're going to play a 5-player game, and so I should have 7 cubes. But only one of these cities actually has 7 cubes. You can see that's this red city up here. But that's because for the other cities, I actually drew the color of cubes that their location is. Now you can't deliver to that spot, so you just remove those, and they aren't present in those spots. Now, I do like that because you never can guarantee that there'll be a certain number of cubes in any of the locations. So I kind of like how the setup can switch things up and change things up as well. Alright, so each person, as I said, gets one of these. And then, quickly before I talk about, there are these bonus tiles over here. Bonus tiles have 2 sides to them. And either side will have different abilities and different powers on the different sides of the board. And you do flip those, and the side that is represented will be the side that will be used for the rest of the game. Some of these abilities have this little infinity symbol, meaning that you get to keep that tile and use it, and you don't get rid of it. Some of them have this lightning bolt, which means they're a one-time shot. Once you use them, you put them back into the pile over here to be taken. However, I should mention that because to take these, you're going to draft a die after it's rolled. If somebody else has one of the action has an action tile on them and it hasn't been used, meaning because when you use them, you're supposed to flip them on their side to show that they're used, then you flip them back up to the top. If they have these and they haven't been flipped over the side, you're able to steal them from them and take them, which is not necessarily a bad thing, because you'll notice that on these tiles there's these this is worth a point, this is worth a point, but these infinity tiles here, like -1, -2, -2, they're worth negative points if you still have them at the end of the game. So you kind of maybe are hoping that somebody would take that tile because of the fact that the bonus that it gives them, they'll take it from you, and they'll be able, then you won't have those negative points at the end of the game if you happen to have those. There's no way for you to get rid of the tile once you have it, other than using it in the case of these, or somebody stealing them in the case of that. Alright, so there are these dice here, which I'm going to show you. I'm going to roll, and we're just going to see what they do. You have a little first player marker, choo-choo, and that's just, obviously the first player marker. However, this is an important die because of the fact that you'll notice that on this die you'll see there are these little drawings of railways here, and the different curves and turns and straights and what have you that are on each one of these dice. And so what happens when you're playing the game is that the person that's got the leader token is going to roll all the dice, including this one. And whatever this comes up with is going to be the types of rails that people can draw on their map if they decide to take the action of drawing one of those rails. So that's an important thing. Now, there are ways to mitigate this. You can take certain tiles like that one that will allow you to draw whatever you like, but there are always going to be 2 choices. So usually you can figure out exactly what you want to do. So you roll that one, and then the first player is going to roll all the rest of these dice, and they just kind of put them right there. And notice there's 5 players, and there's 6 dice in this case. So there's one more than the players that you have. So, but that's important, and I'll get to that in just a second here, because there is the ability of one of the tiles that are over there that will allow you to actually take 2 dice on your turn. Like so, and that's actually this one here. You can see the 2 dice that are on there. If you have that one, you can take 2 white dice and perform 1 action with each, and then there won't be a leftover die at the end. But anyway, regardless, the actions you have are pretty straightforward. The first one is building a track. So the big thing is that whatever number you take, so let's say we took this number 1 as our action. We draft that, we take that 1, and we're going to use it to build track. That means that we have to build the track in this quadrant, this yellow quadrant that's over there. You can't, so that number is going to determine which location you can do so. And so if you look at these options, like they have this little curve that would go, from here to here, like so. And they also have a straight, which goes from here to here. Once you draw onto a location, you cannot draw another line on that location. So you need to plan ahead and think ahead. And you don't have to, like when you draw your rail, you don't have to have a connect with anything. You could draw it, a little straight line right here if you wanted to. You could draw a straight line right here if you wanted to. Now, would that be a smart choice? Probably not, because it wouldn't really help you in any way to connect anything. But, you don't have to draw in a certain spot. So if we did that, we could just draw like this. We could just go like this. And that would show that we did this one, and we took that straight line, and we just drew it like that. Maybe we're trying to build a connection to this town, which is this little dot here, and then eventually, we can get to this, like the blue 5 over here, because notice how there's a blue right over here that we could maybe deliver to here, and there's a yellow that we could possibly deliver back over to the 1. So, you're going to be trying to build these connections. Now, remember that the cities, you don't have to draw a line on the cities, so they have these little, like lines already coming out. So if you draw this line here, this is considered connected here. But for a town, you have to draw a line through that town for it to be connected. You couldn't draw another line. I'm kind of cheating here a little bit, but you couldn't draw another line here and say this town is connected. It isn't connected yet in that case. So just keep that in mind. All right, so another thing you can do is you can improve an engine. And then you can just take a number, like let's take another 1 here, and there's this little engine box over here. And so then you find the 1 and you cross it off like this. And what that means is that that engine can now travel a distance of 1. So that's going to make more sense when I talk about delivering goods here, which I'm going to do right up next. But for every box you check off, you're going to be able to deliver 1 extra space. All right, so delivering goods. So what that is that let's pretend we're a little further into the game, and let's say we've drawn these 2 rails like so. And so we have that 5 and the 1 connected. Now, and also just to be cool here, and I'm going to see, also, let's say we got this one, and we got this one too. All right, so what we have there is that when it is time to deliver goods, what you're trying to do is that you're going to be taking a number is the source city of the good in question that you want to have delivered. So, and I'm going to cheat here just a little bit. Let's say of these dice, we had a 3 available, we had a 1 available, and we had a 5 available. All right, so now if we can look at the source of these, what we could do is, if we look, this number here has a blue, and blue is there. When we have a travel, which would go up here, over, and down. Now, you can travel, you don't have to take the shortest route. If you had actually created, let's say you had created a route like so as well. You could, yes, deliver it from here to there with bringing that, so the source of it is 3, so we're using this die here as a 3, and we could be using that to deliver to the blue. However, we don't have to if we don't want to. What we can do is we can take the longer path, like this. And the reason why you'd want to do that is that for every city that you go through, you're going to, and town for that matter, you're going to score more points. Now, so basically, this to here would be 1, this to here would be 2, and this to here would be 3. Whereas from here to here would only be 1. However, the situation you have there is that you're going to have a stronger engine to be able to actually travel that far to be able to get those points. So if you do that, what you do is you take the little blue cube off, you throw it back into the resource bag here. Now, in the case of if you're playing with the delivering, like these tiles for delivering cubes, if you have these, you won't do that because of the fact that you want to hold on to the cube in front of you until you satisfy one of these tiles so you can collect it for the points. But for the most part, if you're not playing with that, what you're going to do is you're going to throw it back in the bag, and then you're going to score your points. You just score your points by marking them off like so to show that you scored 3 points for doing that. So, and that's delivering goods. Now, delivering goods is actually how the game ends. As soon as 3 of these cities have no more goods left in them, then that triggers the end of the game, and then you're going to total up your final points. So you can take an action tile, as I said. You just take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6. You take the action tile that you wish to take and use it. I mean, just go quickly saying this one, number 1, this little question mark means you can change your tile, change your die to anything you want. So it gives you some more variability. This one, as I said, you get those 2 dice. Let's see, with number 3. For number 3. When you deliver cargo, the player may use the white die as a destination instead of the source, so you can kind of flip it around a little bit. And remember, that is like an infinity 1, so you can use that as much as you like. This one with the train right here, like you want to make a delivery action, the player can make a delivery of a limited distance. The rule stating that the good may not pass to the same city still applies. Oh, I'm sorry, that's actually this side. So the infinity symbol. This one means that you can, the engine is considered to be +1 strength than it actually is. And notice how this one has a 0, and this one actually has a 1 point on it. So it's actually worth a point if you can have that at the end. Now, the weird thing about that is that if you have that one and you can use the train to go on limited distance, you'd think, well, that's really good. But actually, and you'd never have to spend any dice on improving your engine. However, you do get bonus points at the end for actually improving your engine to the 4, 5, or 6 level. And I should mention as well, notice I did 1, 2, and 3 when I marked those for the engine. You don't have to mark the 1, then mark the 2, then mark the 3. You could start with the 6. You could start with the 4. You can do whatever. As long as the die, so you could take the 6 right now, and you could improve your engine like that, and still wait for the 4 and the 5 to complete those. So that's completely valid. You can do that if you wish. So this one here, 5A, says that the player may change the value of the white die by plus or minus 1, but you can't go above 6 or below 1. You don't loop or anything like that. And then finally here, with the 6th one, the player can ignore the black die and draw any type of track they wish, when it is their turn. So you don't have to abide by what that die rolls. So as I said, after 3 of these cities run out of cubes, that will be the end of the game. You total your points gained by all the deliveries you made, so you just total up whatever you pulled off there. You're going to get, you're going to score points for your rail network. So each completed connection between 2 cities is worth point plus 1 point per town that is connected. So like this would be worth a point, this would be worth a point, and this would be worth 2 points because of the fact that you went through a town for that one. If you upgraded your engine to a 4, 5, or 6, you will get either 1, 2, or 3 bonus points. So like this one, you upgraded to 4, so you'd get 1 bonus point right there. Then if you had any action tiles at the end, so like let's say you had this tile at the end, so nobody took that from us, it would be worth -1. So you'd have the -1 for your total, and then you just total up all of your points, and whoever has the most points will win the game. I've never played a game that was this much fun You know, as far as like, I mean, I've played a lot of train games, right? And admittedly, this is not a super, you know, in-depth train game. This is not, you know, like like, I wouldn't say, well, I wouldn't even say it isn't a brain burner, because there's lots of times when those dice over here just don't seem to come up with exactly what I want, and so I got to figure out how to take the best die available to help me out. But this game has everything that I like about train games, and it's really, really condensed. It's really astounding that they've made a game that has this much meat on the bone when it is so small as it is. I mean, it's got everything that I like. It has the build up where you're slowly building up your your railway stations. You're building all that up, and then like when do you start cashing in for points? It has pick up and deliver, which is something I love. It's got dice, which obviously if you watch my videos, you know I love dice. So I can't say enough awesome things about this game. It is so much fun. It is a blast to play, and really, if you're looking to get people into train games, I could see this as being a great way to do so. And if you have like your train game group and you want to play something quick, when you don't have like a couple hours or 2 or 3 hours to play something that's a longer game, then this is definitely something that's going to scratch that itch. But let me talk about all of that and more in my final thoughts. Hey, all right, so that was Steamrollers. Woo, Steamrollers. All right, so I've already kind of covered everything that I thought was really, really awesome already. But if you didn't watch the gameplay portion, let me just kind of retread that a little bit. You know, I feel like this is that perfect type of game that, like, either I have my train game group, but we don't have time to bust out a big, long train game at that time. So we're going to, you know, play something, you know, that is going to scratch the itch that I like, you know, pick up and deliver, making my railway route, you know, figuring out, you know, like limited resources, you know, kind of a race. There's a build-up phase, you know, as far as like, you know, building up my railway network, but when do I start cashing in on that? When do I start getting points? Do I do it early and then get, you know, get points quicker but less points, or do I bide my time and wait and get, like, you know, and build up a big complicated network that's going to cash in for more points, but are there going to be cubes left at the end of that kind of thing? And so there's this weird kind of economy of actions that the players themselves are going to kind of dictate the inflation of, and whether or not you're going to be cashing in quick or slow, and being able to seize upon that and being clever enough to recognize the flow of the game before everybody else is a really big part of the game. So, you know, there's so many things about it that I love. I love the fact that, yes, it's got dice. I love the randomness of that. I think the game does a very good job of adding some different things in there to mitigate the luck of those dice, as far as the way to change the dice with the different action tiles. I really like the fact that the action tiles are very powerful, but the very powerful ones are going to be counting, like, against you, and, you know, as far as points at the end of the game. And this is not a game where you're going to be scoring, you know, like 50, 60, 70 points. You know, scores of, you know, around 20 to 30, you know, is a good game. So having those -2 points or something are going to be really huge, and they could be counting against you, and they could cost you the win. I don't think, I've played this several times with my group. We've never had really a runaway winner. I mean, it's one of those things where everybody's just kind of within those 2-3 points of each other, and, you know, we're just trying to squeeze every single point we can out of our networks, you know. And I can't say enough about it. I mean, it's just like, this is a really, really brilliant design. It feels like I'm playing a big, heavy train game, but I'm not. So, oh, we've only got 30 minutes to play a train game, but I don't want to play some, like, card game that isn't going to feel like it at all. Do I want to actually, like, look at something after I'm done and see that I've created something? Do I want to, like, have that feeling of tension between the players as you're kind of racing, all of you are racing to do the same thing and trying to do it better than the other person? This does it. And I really, if you're a train game person, if you're a dice game person, if you're thinking about, hey, maybe those train games are something I want to try out, I can't recommend this enough. So there you go. That's Steamrollers. If you have any questions about the game, ask away. I'll be happy to answer those as best as I can. As always, thank you very much for your time and watching this video. And hey, until next time, you right there, have yourself one heck of an awesome day. All right, bye-bye.